So 2.1 miles away from the staging area is what's called the birthing rock. There's kind of a dude like having a baby. Well, maybe not a dude, but here's this sign. Do with it what you will. See that one laying the alien baby? It looks like Shrek. And I think they call it a birthing rock because it does look like that dude's having a baby or laying an egg or something. Just this random rock in the middle of nowhere that just has all these funky petroglyphs on it. There's a big staging area at the mouth of the canyon. If you're headed to Hurrah Pass, it is 10 miles from the staging area. And then Jackson Hole is at the bottom. There's a turnoff that will go into Jackson Hole. Depending on how much time you have, Hurrah Pass is only 10 miles and it's pretty much all gravel road. The first like 7-8 miles is anyway. And then the climb up at the end is a little more extreme, but still an easy ride you could do. You can get to Hurrah Pass and back within an hour if you pushed it. Down there's the birthing rock. See that one laying the alien baby? It looks like Shrek. Yeah. Kind of cool. All right, then we'll hit these switchbacks here in a minute. Okay. And a few miles up the trail that are switchbacks, I wouldn't probably want to take a trailer down it. Here's the pavement, so this will be an interesting test for your power steering because it's pretty grippy for me. Like, it's kind of a pain in the ass to steer these things going downhill.
And you made the power steering extra secure, right? My fear is I'm going to be going fast or something and I just drive straight off a cliff because I can't turn all of a sudden.
It's a little motor and it's only 200 and some watts. Even if it tried to turn it one way, you could overpower it pretty easily.
Or if it stopped working, then it doesn't mean the steering will stop working.
No, if it stops working, your steering goes back to like what I'm experiencing right now. Okay, there's a couple of side-by-sides coming. And there's a whole bunch of motorcycles coming. No, those two strokes are stinky. They smell like a chainsaw. Because a two-stroke doesn't have oil through it, so you put oil in the gas. And so it burns oil with the gas. The good thing about the power steering kit is it's got a torque sensor in there. It applies more force if it's needed, but not when it's not. If you're going fast and it doesn't take any effort to turn, it's not going to give you all the power to turn the wheel. It senses what it needs and then it only gives what it needs. So it's pretty advanced. It has a pretty good sized computer that I had to mount inside of your four-wheeler. The Rubicons that we use are full-time four-wheel drive, and so sometimes they can be really hard to steer, especially coming downhill or something. Sometimes it's really hard to keep them straight and steer them. And so I figured that, I'm bigger and the boys are bigger, so we can handle it a little better, but where you're smaller, I thought it would be beneficial to have power steering. I decided to buy a four-wheeler with power steering, but I realized that we would have to pay almost double what we could get one of these for. And I just didn't feel like spending $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 on a four-wheeler. So I looked into adding power steering to our existing four-wheelers, and I found a kit on Super ATV, a power steering kit that was highly reviewed. So I decided to purchase it for Char for her Christmas. So the good thing is I bought it for her Christmas. I promised to install on Valentine's Day, and now she gets to test it out on her birthday. It's a gift that keeps giving for sure. I mean, it was a very involved installation because I had to cut the steering shaft and then weld in this motor mount, and there was no room for error. I had no adjustability, so wherever that plate ended up to mount the motor, I had to adapt a bracket to fit it. And so it took a little while to develop that bracket. And here comes the Subaru. Off to the right, where the sun is going down, we're going to go over the top of that. So that's where Hurrah Pass is. And this to the south of me is called Kane Creek, which is really fun. There's a couple of hard obstacles, so like if you're not experienced, probably it's a trail you should skip. But if you want an adventure, yeah, go ahead and take it. Nothing terribly difficult, at least as of last year of 2023 there wasn't. I don't know if something's washed out in the meantime, but there's a whole bunch of river bottoms and sandy areas that are really fun to ride through, and that it's kind of an out and in kind of thing. You can't go through to the other side because at the end there's a really bad obstacle called Hamburger Hill. Conditions, buddy. Gotta get a little mud on the tires. I'm gonna go off here. I assume it's not too deep. Oh, it's not too deep. This is 6.6 miles from the staging area. So you'll see here's the Kane Creek, Hurrah Pass, you go straight. We're about 3.3 miles from this point to Hurrah Pass. Because Hurrah Pass is exactly 10 miles from the staging area. So 3.3 miles to the top, and you start getting into some pretty epic scenery here with the big rock cliffs. And in fact, the very top of that mesa up there, or on the skyline, you can see a railing up there. That's called the anticline overlook. You can drive up on the backside. It's a long ways around the south, but you can drive up the backside and go up on top, and then you can overlook Kane Creek and over into Jackson Hole and over by Chicken Corners and overlook the river and everything from the top up there. We thought about going if we didn't want to ride. You know, we could drive down there. It's quite an involved ride, though. It's a long trip. How you doing?
Good.
Okay, we'll stop at the top of Hurrah Pass. So it's about 3 miles. That's the thing I really like about this Hurrah Pass road. You just start to wonder, how on the earth are you going to drive over the top of that? Like, how do you get through? Because it looks like there's no way out. But I'm just really happy about your power steering. To be honest, I was nervous and I wish we could have tested it, but I got pretty confident. I've watched a lot of videos on YouTube on manufacturing and welding. I kind of knew what to do. I don't know what was up with me. The day that I welded the steering shaft were probably some of the best welds I've ever done. And so that's what made me feel confident that, you know, because yeah, it's your whole steering, it's the whole control of the four-wheeler. So yes, that's frightening to cut a solid rod and weld in these U-joints attached to a motor, you know, but everything in there is built up pretty beefy, and the bracket that I made to mount the motor is reinforced. It's in there pretty solid and it fits pretty tight. So this was a place when we first got the Skydio, remember how I was chasing it back and forth here? Because it's like just racing around, it's like spazzes out. So the Skydio uses obstacle avoidance and GPS coordinates to drive itself. And so when it got in this canyon, the GPS signal was blocked. And then it was like wigging out and couldn't find me. And so my Skydio was racing like at 20 or 30 miles an hour, just back and forth, just feet above these rocks. And I was like, I knew for a fact it was gonna crash and crash bad, but it didn't. Off to my right here, that's Kane Creek that you drive down. You can see that's quite an epic canyon you get to buzz down. And then right as soon as you turn the corner to go away from Kane Creek, you'll see Hurrah Pass, and someone's pulled a big ass camp trailer up there to Hurrah Pass. RVs of America. They're probably influencers. I don't know if you've heard of us, Aspen and Pines. We did have an epic video here.
I wanna sing. I wanna sing. Just wanna sing.
How does it feel coming downhill, hon?
Oh, just like I can enjoy the scenery now and not have to worry about losing control.
Good. These Rubicons are heavy machines and the full-time four-wheel drive. So a lot of people that buy these Rubicons get the Warn 424 switch. Remember how I had that little thing that I had pulled and I could disengage the front end? But then it wrapped around my axle and ended up breaking and all that. People were putting those in to disengage the front end of these Rubicons because they were so hard to steer that by just cutting the power to the front, you could steer it because they weren't drive tires anymore. But I think the power steering is probably the better option because those 424 switches are expensive. Hurrah Pass was named Hurrah Pass because The farmers and ranchers used to run their cattle off this backside down by the river, and they would bring them up from off the river and herd them over into Kane Creek. But I know somewhere over here, it was so bad they would blindfold the animals and lead them across because it was so narrow. It was a hard area to herd the cows and to find them all and everything. And so the good thing about Hurrah Pass is that it was a narrow opening at the top of the hill that the cows would go through, and so it was very easy for them to count the cows as they brought them out of here. They said that when the last cow went through and they counted and they had all the cows, they all shouted hurrah, and it echoed off the mountains. And so that's why they call it Hurrah Pass, because the cattlemen would celebrate when the last cattle crossed through the top of the mountain up there. So this was just a cow trail that went along the edges of the cliffs, but it was during the uranium mining boom that the miners came in with dynamite and bulldozers and blew this big road off the backside. So now we could get off in here and enjoy the scenery without coming down a very, very narrow path. I couldn't believe they were blindfolding them, and I don't know if it was here or if it was over actually where Chicken Corners is, because this road off the backside is still I guess it's considered Hurrah Pass to Chicken Corners, but I think the real Chicken Corners is up at the very end where there's a really narrow path. So the first time we came here, we were in the Suburban. Coming off the backside, you can see there's some very steep drop-offs. The kids were on the side of the cliffs as we were coming down here, and they were freaking out, and I didn't understand why, because I was over here next to the rocks and I'm just driving down the road, but the kids were seeing all these drop-offs and they were freaking out, and I didn't realize until on the way back I was on the side of the cliff and I could see down 500 feet to a rocky bottom, and so I could see why the kids were so scared. This is a beautiful canyon though. It's really got some majestic faces and stuff, and man, this is beating me to death.
I'm doing great.
And I don't know, maybe I'm convinced maybe it's something I need to do for Father's Day.
For yourself.
That's what you're getting me. So when you go to Jackson Hole, there's this Base Camp Adventure Lodge, and it's got a little arrow that points down. If you turn at this sign and just keep hanging to the right, then you get to Jackson Hole. There's hardly anyone that comes down in here because I think they all think this is private land. But there's a big trail over here. Someone turned around there. There's not many people come in here. That it's less traveled because people really have to know what they're doing to find this place. So it's kind of one of those hidden gems. And the fun part about Jackson Hole is the cliffhanger trail, Jeep trail, goes around the outside rim. Someone's standing in the road here.
Oh, there's a dog.
Yeah. I think they're playing disc golf. But see, that's the thing. I think everyone thinks that this is private property or whatnot.
Well, we shouldn't tell people our secret.
Then we won't. We can leave that part out. I think the only people that come up here are probably people that are staying at that lodge thing. But this is an open trail. One of our favorites down here, especially a short run. A short run that's easy. It's it's one you can do in an afternoon, and it's not complex. There's not any part of this trail that is complex or technical in any way. And I really think they've improved these roads a lot. You can bring pretty much any stock SUV. Yeah, that's Jackson Hole. So that's the sign you have to turn. There's a gate that says private property there.
Lucky dogs who have the private property. Jake's in for a treat. This is where it gets really fun and scenic. This is a riot.
I love how diverse Moab is. Everywhere is a little bit different. Kane Creek's a certain feel. This has its own feel. It's kind of fun. You can have a lot of different experiences down here. Oh wow, that's cool. It's like a little waterfall over there.
Yeah. Last year there was the flower blooms, huh?
Yeah, but see, we were down here in April. I think it really takes off. In a month or so, it'll really be blooming down here. Girls will like that. Now, this is a good test for your power steering.
So how many reviews were there on this thing?
Oh, there was a couple hundred.
So a lot of people do attempt it, or do they hire other people to put it in for them, you think?
A lot of people hire people to do it. They're like, oh, it's great, you know, I had so-and-so install it, or I took it to a fabricator and they did it for me, you know. If people are wealthy or they want to spend a lot of money, they can just go buy a four-wheeler with power steering. But there's people like us that don't necessarily want to go pay $15,000 for a new four-wheeler, that are fine with the four-wheeler they've got, but they want to make it a little easier to drive. Like, there's a market for that. So I think there's a lot of people like us that drive these older ones that just want to get some extra life or kind of upgrade them a little bit. And if you've got the tools, it's kind of fun to do. I had fun doing it. Aside from, I just got a lot of other projects.
Now remember, I was scared coming down that one.
Yeah, just go on the outside edge. Good. Right up.
This scares me still.
No, go.
Well, okay. I'd rather you do it.
All
Because you
right.
kind of have to hug that side, huh?
Yeah. Oh my hell. That power steering is floaty. Okay, that's
I know.
weird.
It's interesting.
Brake.
Thanks for getting me up the hard part.
We'll go up
It's a
here.
fun ride.
This is, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, I love this rock up to the left.
That was pretty smooth though, riding your four-wheeler. I'm kind of a little bit like, huh.
You think we'll get rained on?
No, I don't think we'll get rained on, but I do think our daylight is slipping away. And so I think we'll go up the wash because that's the funner part, and over to the rocks and maybe where we picked up the petrified wood. And like right now, if we turned around, we'd probably be back to the truck about 8. We have time, but like maybe not to do the full loop. Just don't want to be coming out of here at 10 o'clock at night when it's 30 degrees and rain. Unless you want to.
Well, I kind of want to give Jake the experience. We can try to keep it short when we look for petrified wood.
All right. We're about here now. Like, we still got an hour and some of daylight. It's just barely 6 o'clock now, so we're gonna be okay, because right there to the very left, you can see the mountain we drive around.
Are you talking about to the very right?
Yes.
The funny thing is you're so good with directions. I never know north from south, and then you don't know your left from right, but I'd rather know my north from south than left from right.
Yes, I mean, it's more important. And here we're almost to the loop. You can see the loopy-loop. Here's those weird tiger stripe rocks. It looks like someone's painted graffiti on the wall. Yeah, this is a rough road. But it's not technical, it's just bumpy.
I love the part where you go through that, the sand dune part.
Yeah.
With the sand. You have to do that. Is that what you were gonna maybe cut out?
No. You can always go to the fun part, but we're gonna go around the south side of the hill. So we'll hit the place where we got the petrified wood first. Actually, I think we're getting close to the black rocks.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's on these hills here.
All of a sudden we just kind of drive out and there's all these black rocks everywhere.
They're like those healing rocks.
Oh.
Do you think they have uranium in them?
Oh, okay, your counter, I'll be able to tell you. So right here we'll turn off and go the south side, and then that'll loop us around. So we'll see the petrified wood place first.
Okay, good. Well, we still have more daylight.
Yeah.
And maybe just take off our helmets for a bit, walk around, and I'm just curious to see if we find any.
Yeah.
Oh, this is one of my favorite parts right here. I'm going to be behind you now.
Okay. So we're going to turn to the right and take this route. So we'll come back out the Sandy Hill way, like this wash bottom. I don't know which way is the better way. Probably just take the way I went because it's not bad. That one's way rocky over there, so I'm gonna take off my sunglasses, I guess. Oh wow, it's much brighter without the sunglasses on. Now I'm not so scared to run out of daylight. Looks like the same vehicle's been through here multiple times. Like, I wonder if they just ride back and forth or if they're down there at that place and they just have like a rental Jeep or something they run out here. Because this has been the same vehicle go all over here. Hey, there's been deer down in here. There's deer that crossed the road right there.
Oh, now here's those rocks. I'm starting to see some round.
Yeah, there's some round ones, but like the black ones are around the north side.
I just love all these river type rocks. It's amazing on this hillside. I hope Jake will like hunting for rocks for a bit.
I think he will. There's deer tracks. I mean, they look pretty recent. Ah!
What?
This is like, I feel like I'm about to tip over. I wouldn't think there'd be deer down in here. I guess there's feed. I guess it's winter range, but...
Oh, we've seen deer at the state park. I know. So there are deer around.
Yeah, we've seen it. There's deer down here, just not many.
Hey, it's starting to rain.
I know.
Hope you stay warm.
We'll come over here, we'll have a snack, look for some petrified wood, and then come out around the other side, look at some of those black rocks, and then just buzz home. We got the good light, so.
It's so pretty here.
I don't know, I took the higher road. I don't know if that was the wise choice. Oh, I'd take the lower road if I were you. It's funner down there, I think.
Keep your eye out for petrified wood.
I know. We're almost there.
Anything that looks abnormal, darker. I bet it's all over here.
Alright, here's where it was. We were stopped on this knoll. So we can stop here real quick. This is where we found the petrified wood. Alright. It's funny because I took off flying the drone and I forgot to record it, but I started it like within 30 seconds. We just got a boogie. There's a coyote poop there. There's been a lot of deer around here. Like, they're all over there, that hillside. There was deer tracks everywhere. I'm going to turn on my hand warmers because at least I can get some warmth here. Yeah, the sun goes down in about 15 minutes. So it's going to be a dark ride. We got lights. Now we're starting to get into healing rocks, but Jacob was starting to get amazed by these, and I'm like, oh, just wait. It's just an adventurous ride, and like what I love is like there's hardly ever anyone down here. I don't think we've ever passed anyone down in here. A tumbleweed. Here we go. This is fun down here. Right now, about is where we're going to hit the river bottom, where we turn and get on the other side of this natural gas pipeline. Now, here's where the river bottom is. Where is Jake? Oh, he's there. He's just enjoying his ride. Good. There's just this sandy river bottom that's fun to race through, and there's these black rocks. Water runs down out of here and kind of created this wash. And now we're starting to get into the black rocks. We're almost to the really black rocks. I think it's just right over here is where there's a bunch of them. Last time we were here, we kind of just stopped and played on these hillsides, and oh, here they are. This is the hills we were walking around on, wasn't it? Okay, what? Oh, they're all over here too. Here's a nice area. We're not driving out of them, are we? Yeah, this is where we turned and went up, so they're right here. Let's go back. Yeah, there's like this baby elephant over here. Over here, I'll show you. So right up here is all those black rocks. See, there's the baby elephant. See the baby elephant? Got the elephant ear.
Has a tail and legs.
And a tail and legs. Baby elephant rock. And then this is where we come up and we find all the healing stones. Look at this, Jake. Look at how they're just scattered across all the sandstone.
Where did they come from? There's one other place I want to go to. It's that quesadilla truck.
Oh yeah, we were thinking going to the quesadilla truck. That almost looks like it's rust. That looks jagged like metal.
Yeah.
But I did find little pieces of petrified wood up here. But you just walk along these hillsides, look at all of them. There's just millions of these.
Yeah.
And they're all like, some of them are some of them are like perfectly smooth though. You go around like
that one. That one looks really smooth.
yeah.
Oh, that one looks really shiny and smooth. Whoa.
Yeah, those are the cool ones. Look at how smooth this one is too.
They look metallic almost.
They do. They are, and they're heavy for their size. Like, oh yeah, look at this. Like, then you get like a lot of. Oh yeah. There's a whole bunch of cool ones up here.
Wait.
Look, they're scattered all over these red rocks.
Mm-hmm.
Weird shape for a rock.
I know. There's just, gosh, there's a million of them.